to this. Hi, everyone. This is Curtis and Donovan with the Lesbian and Gay Liberation Front. We are here to give you a recap on our recent book club, our first meeting, as well as give you some updates on the organization. So let's let Donovan start with the book club recap. Go take it away, Donovan.
So hi. In brief, our past book club, our first session that we had this past Friday was really wonderful. I loved getting to talk with a few of our people who were there. And we got to discuss two readings. One was from Audre Lorde. It was from 1983, and it was her essay, "There is no hierarchy of oppression." And the other reading that we got to discuss was by Linda Bellows, and it was her essay, her more recent essay, actually, titled "Against a Hierarchy of Oppressions." And so really quick, I wanted us to just look at, I'll read one of the quotes that I really loved from Audre Lorde's essay, and I'll mention some of the points that were brought up during the book club meeting, and then we'll look at Bellows. So one of my favorite quotes that Lorde has in her essay is where she says, "The increasing attacks upon lesbians and gay men are only an introduction to the increasing attacks upon all Black people. For wherever oppression manifests itself in this country, Black people are potential victims, and it is a standard of right-wing cynicism to encourage members of oppressed groups to act against each other. And so long as we are divided because of our particular identities, we cannot join together in effective political action. Within the lesbian community, I am Black, and within the Black community, I'm a lesbian. Any attack against Black people is a lesbian and gay issue because I and thousands of other Black women are part of the lesbian community. Any attack against lesbians and gays is a Black issue because thousands of lesbians and gay men are Black. There is no hierarchy of oppression." Lorde makes an important point in her essay, sort of linking the movements in the struggle against, of course, sexism, homophobia, and racism, specifically arguing for the importance of realizing the connected struggles that people who are marginalized or oppressed share, and the way in which we can seek to create coalitions around our shared social and political interests. And one of the important points that was brought up during the book club was thinking in terms of emotional intelligence within our social and political interactions, which of course goes with thinking about intersectionality, which is what Lorde is talking about, in seeing how sex, race, and class intersect. However, one of the issues, of course, is with the increasing emphasis upon identity and upon the individual, and the fracturing of social movements, which has been a difficulty that's been faced, of course, by lesbians and gay men in our activism. Importantly, as well, one of the commenters brought up, issues within the GC community regarding, for example, where we see some struggles around, say, misogyny, homophobia, as well as even racism, and these being issues that kind of end up separating people and end up acting as barriers, as opposed to being ways through which we can work to achieve some overcoming of these different oppressions. And so one of the other issues that had been brought up, which I really thought was significant, was the difference between forming a positive political identity versus a negative political identity, which is to say, when we are talking about the harms of transgenderism, focusing on, for example, how we can promote the social and political interest of lesbians and gay men, or with regard to, women promoting the social and political interest of women and girls, as opposed to simply forming a kind of antagonism to this, transgenderism itself, but rather thinking in terms of what we can do for our respective communities and those who need us the most. And so that was in a nutshell one of the wonderful things about reading Lord's writing is being able to think about the interconnections that we all find among ourselves across communities, across lines of course, race and class, and even across the line of sex, from men to women. And so that was Audre Lorde. And then moving forward toward the present, we also looked at Linda Bellos's essay Against a Hierarchy of Oppressions, which I really love as well. It appears in the anthology Spinning and Weaving, edited by Elizabeth Miller. I really like this collection. And so Bellos talks in a similar way to Lorde, although updated for our times, about the issues that are particularly facing women and lesbians, as well as, of course, gay men, with regard to what Bellos calls the new trans politics. And what Bellos critiques is, she writes, good sample. So she writes, my politics has not fundamentally changed over the last 45 years. And by that, I mean that my process has not really changed. I want to see all of the people impacted by a decision considered, and this happens when they are consulted and listened to. They may have better knowledge of the subject than I, and good ideas as to making the issue more effective or less dangerous, and otherwise produce better policy. But my overall politics are based upon the notion that all people are of equal value. And I think it is significant to talk about, of course, with this, coalitions between and among people. And this is of course something that Bellos has done in her activism, working alongside different women across race and class. And I think it's important too, one of Bellos's points, which she's made elsewhere, talking about saying that, and this is another quote from her essay that I love, saying that, but I do recognize that the notion of race is a man-made notion, as is gender. And talking about how racism is as real as sexism, and thinking about both sex and race, and also with relation to gender, and how these function when we think about human oppression. And of course, the other issue that Bellos brings up, which goes back to the title of her essay, Against a Hierarchy of Oppressions, is she argues that, and I'll read this one quote because it's really quite lovely from her. My politics have been about wanting to change the world, but first I have had to answer the question, change it from what to what? As I finish this short essay, I'm saddened by where we are at as a world, in which we see some lives as more important than other lives. What I know is that feminism has a methodology which has the potential to be useful to all to humans if we get away from the notion that some of us are more equal than others. I'm not sure how we measure oppression and how we might gauge it. Indeed, I'm pretty sure that we should not try to measure oppression. Those of us who have a notion that the oppression of women is wrong are, in my view, going to have to stop being competitive about who is the most oppressed. I'm not sure that it is a competition worth winning. And Bellos makes this point regarding, the kind of sort of the idea of an oppression Olympics, which is often what intersectionality, say in quotation marks, gets reduced to this false idea of an oppression Olympics. Whereas in reality, what we should be seeking to understand is the social relations between and among groups, and also from a political point of view, thinking about power. And so this of course has been a concern of Bellos's work. And so these are some of the basic themes that we brought up during our first book club meeting, which again, I really loved. I loved getting to discuss both Lord and Bellos with others, including, lesbians and gay men, which is very special for me. I always love getting to talk about historical writings and literature with others. For our next session that we will be having, we will be talking about James Baldwin. So his essay, The Preservation of Innocence from 1949. And we will be talking about another favorite of mine, Adrienne Rich, who has her essay, The Meaning of Our Love for Women is What We Have Constantly to Expand from 1977. So we'll be talking about both Baldwin and Rich, and that will be on January the 7th, that Friday, and it'll be at the same time. Curtis, what was the time? 5?
Yep, so we set it for 5 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Yeah, so January 7th, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And so we'll be talking about Baldwin and Rich. So yeah, that's it for the book club. And also Bellos's essay also appears in Not Dead Yet, which I wanted to put a plug in for this book too. So it appears in both of these places. So.
Well, thank you so much, Donovan. I attended the book club and it really was amazing. I loved the discussion that was facilitated, the ideas that were shared. It really was amazing. And I can't wait for the second meeting. Again, that's January 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we also have some other updates. So we did release, just for December only, the LGLF Ugly Christmas Sweater. It says like Don We Now Are Gay apparel, and it's got a bunch of like Christmas stuff. So go check it out. It's a nice holiday sweater. It's exclusive to LGLF and for December only. So get it while you can. Get it while it's gay. And we do have some other updates. We have our mentor program. We're aiming for a January launch. So that is right around the corner. And we're busy working hard on it. We are building all sorts of things for mentees to participate in, discussions that we're going to facilitate, and it's just going to be a really great thing. So definitely check out the Ugly Christmas Sweater and check out the mentor program, and go sign up for the book club at lglf.org. Was there anything else you wanted to share, Donovan?
No, I don't have anything else. I hope you all come and see us at the book club. I really would love to get to, talk about the readings and just talk about, different quotes, different writers, something that's always wonderful, getting to explore lesbian and gay literature. So yeah, do come check us out. So.
And I love learning about lesbian and gay history from Donovan because he's so smart. So definitely come check it out. And I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. So have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.